Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming back and viewing this channel. Today I'm so privileged to have a senator, a superwoman. So thank you so much for giving us this time.
Thank you. Privileged to be here.
Yeah.
And I look forward to having a very good engagement with you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna start. So how is it right now? How is being a senator?
For me, honestly, sometimes I don't even realize I am, because I just moved on like my life used to be.
Yeah.
I only realize when someone actually addresses me as senator. That's the moment I realize, okay.
Yeah, you're a senator.
Yeah.
And getting in, being acquainted to the work, you know, I've been able to see you walk around, and you're quite so busy. So Senate entails a lot of roles, right? Because as we think, you just go to the office, you go to Bunge, you wait.
I think even this month, so when you actually trying to get me, I was in a trade committee meeting whereby we were processing a petition by one of the members of the public.
Yeah.
So it's not idle as people think.
Yeah.
I also think it depends on how you want your life generally to be.
Yeah.
But you need to strike a balance generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, beat.
And as we talk about personal life, I know you being nominated as a senator, your journey is quite an interesting, blessed one, which you're going to tell us about. So how has being a senator right now impacted your life in the instance where you had friends, you know? You're now in a position of leadership, higher position. Has it impacted your life? Has it changed your life?
I don't think so much has changed. What has only changed is the number of people I'm dealing with. Before then, maybe I wasn't dealing with so many people.
Yeah.
But now I'm dealing with so many people across the country. And you have to strike a balance between engaging people, engaging your friends, engaging at work, doing your parliamentary and legislative work.
Yeah.
All that needs a plan on how to go around it. But I thank God I've been able to catch up very fast. Because if you take note, I came in late. For me, I came in November. Yeah. But I've been able to catch up with the rest of the senators, and I think it's been a good experience so far.
So far.
It gets you to appreciate the different and diverse views we have across the country, the different challenges people are facing. I equally have a privilege of learning from colleagues who've been here for quite some time. So it's contributed positively to my growth politically and personally.
And personally.
Yes.
And previously, before you came into, before you you're nominated into Senate, you were in the UDA office, in communications team, right?
No. Before I came to the Senate, I worked with the Office of the Deputy President, then Dr. William Ruto, as an Assistant Director Research in the Strategy and Delivery Unit, which was headed by Dr. John Chikati, who is now the Tongaren MP. Yeah. And between that period that I was doing that kind of work, we now had the formation of UDA, whereby I was very instrumental in the command centers that were processing the by-elections all the way from Sambweni to Kiambaa. Yeah. I also founded Women for Ruto, that was mobilizing women to support the election of Dr. William Ruto as president. Yes. I did a lot of communication work for the candidate, that's Dr. William Ruto. Yes. All these contributions build up to me being shortlisted as one of the potential nominees in the IBC list. Yeah. I was number 9 on that list. So when UDA made their nominations, they got to number 8, so I didn't get it. Then I think after some time, when the cabinet was being formed, one of the senators who had been selected as a cabinet secretary on the Bosoipan 2 year left. That's how I got to get into the Senate, because now I was number 9, so I was next on the list. Yeah. So I think a God of second chances.
That should have been amazing.
Of course, and I normally attribute every other thing. When you do your work, God does the other bit.
Yes.
Yes. Even the world conspires to reward you.
Yes.
Yeah. For this one, I'm really grateful. For every other person who we were working in the different teams, that even brought my work to the fold, you know. That one I'm grateful, and to the president for seeing it fit to reward a girl from a small village like me.
Yes, yes.
And giving me a platform to show the potential young people in this country have when given opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did you come to Nairobi officially?
When I had come earlier, because now when I was working in the office of the deputy president, then 2018 August, that's when I came to Nairobi. At least I got to learn the ropes. This is after I had lost the attempt to be nominated in the Kisii County Assembly.
Yes.
So I thought, hey, I should come to Nairobi. It looks like here is where things happen.
These are happening. So you were just fresh out of
fresh from villages. But I also would like to say that I'm someone who has a good academic background. I went to primary school like any other person going to any public primary school. I did very well. Went to the Kenya High School for my secondary education, then joined Masai Mara University, where I did my background in information sciences. It is at Masai Mara University that I was elected by the students to represent them in the Students' Union. I served as a vice president of the Masai Mara University Students Organization, and I was voted that for the very first time they had a female vice president in that position. So to those students, I still owe them, because it's in that institution that my political leadership capabilities were spotted.
Yes.
Even initially, I was in primary, I was a prefect in high school, but the political beat came to light strongly in campus. Well, now in campus, you have to campaign across the whole institution.
Yes.
So when I left campus, like any other jobless graduate, I was out here doing 1, 2, 3, so that I can also support myself. It is at that point that I got to interact with most of these politicals. And in one of those political rallies, Dr. William Ruto spotted my capability, and he thought maybe these are people we can actually work with. So I didn't know Dr. William Ruto. He met me huko kwa rallies.
So at that point, when was that?
He first saw me in 2016. He had come for an agriculture show launch in Kisii, Kisii Stadium. And I was trying to, with many other young people whom we were with, were trying to get his attention. I remember I hinted to the area member of parliament then, please would you recognize that we are in this place? But you see, who are we? You know, in such gatherings, we are very small people who would even recognize you. But when the member of parliament made a mistake of mentioning that we want the young people are supporting the deputy president here to wave, I didn't wave, I rushed to the podium. And when the security guys were trying to get me out, then the deputy president said, no, let that lady speak. So that was the first time I got to even shake his hand.
You just...
Yes, just like that. I'm normally very confident, especially when I know what I want.
What you want,
So I didn't fear apparently I didn't fear what was going to happen to me. Because really, I was not a VIP. I was just like any other small...
Your mind was just set.
That day, that morning before we went to that rally, my mind was like, I have to hand over this document today, and it's today. So several other engagements continued. You see, now at that time, I think he will not even know your name because he has just seen you for the first time. So consequently, there were several other initiatives in Kisii that they used to come, and I would attend almost all of them because I didn't have any work I was doing. As I'm applying for jobs, when we have political rallies, I attend. And in those rallies, young people would demand that I speak on their behalf. So that was the changing bit. So now Honorable William Ruto got to identify You see now Jubilee elections have actually happened. Then we were actively campaigning for re-election of President Uhuru Kenyatta.
For 2017?
Yes, for 2017.
Yes.
It is at that time that I was shortlisted for nomination to the Kisii County Assembly.
Yes.
Which I didn't get.
During the campaign period?
Yes. So when I didn't get it, so people had already been elected, so people have moved on. So now, in one of the fine days that I was going home, I got a phone call, receiving the call, it was the Deputy President then reaching out to me.
Yeah.
And that is how he gave me a chance in his office. It's not something I expected. And you see, we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
But I think he would see me in those rallies.
In the rallies, yeah.
You see how God works.
Yes.
So I had actually given up now that, I'm not going to get this. But that one didn't shatter my
ambition and dream.
Yes. So I came to Nairobi. I religiously and relentlessly did my assignment. I'm someone who's very resilient in my work.
How did it feel when they knew you've been nominated for a county assembly seat? And then just someone comes and goes away with it? How was it at that particular time?
I don't know, but then I somehow felt like, okay, honestly, to be very honest with you, I think I was those things happened because I was in the village.
Yeah.
You have no privilege of getting this information on what is happening in Nairobi.
Yes.
So even by the time you follow up, who even knows you're following where? Because guys got elected and moved on kitambo.
Yeah.
Of course, it was a setback, but I fought. You see, I went to the lower court, high court, court of appeal in Kisumu. I saw like, hey, all my resources are going down, and I have no job anyway.
Yeah.
It's a lot of process. I'm not going to get justice, so I quit at court of appeal.
Okay. And you have this grace about you. Your aura. You are. How can I say? It's easy to talk to you. You don't seem to be like the person who shouts, who does this, who forces things, who does this. How does it help you maneuver?
I don't know. It is an advantage and a disadvantage on the other end.
Yeah.
But I'm someone who's generally diplomatic, but very firm on my decisions.
Okay.
So I consult widely, but at the end of the day, I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
The soft beat, of course, helps me get along with very many other people, and work easily in teams, and eventually get what I'm pushing for. So that way, for that kind of character, I think it works for me positively. On the negative beat, there are people who would want to take advantage of okay, there's nothing she'll do really, you know. But those negative beats are very minimal because I'm someone who's very firm once I make a decision.
Okay. Yeah. And during campaigns, how was your first experience talking in a large crowd, and how large of a crowd was it?
The first large experience I had, President Uhuru Kenyatta then was coming for the final Jubilee rally in Kisii, in the famous Nyanturago Stadium in Nairobi. There were so many people, and that day I had gone late, but I was actually called that you are needed here. So when I go to the podium, everybody had spoken. It was now left that the deputy president speaks and the president, and the rally is over. So by the time I go to the podium, I had quickly composed myself and spoke. I don't know, I just realized people were clapping. And do you know the issues I mentioned? When the president was rising to respond, he responded to those issues. So I felt, okay, I actually feel I've represented what these people wanted someone to say on their behalf.
Yes.
I don't know how that comes, but somehow when in front of people, you just have to speak their language.
Yeah.
And because really, these are people we interact with on a daily basis. It shouldn't be a big problem engaging them because they are like you. Only that now you're in front of them speaking.
But there's that fight that comes. You're called, yes, now, Senator Ukemiri.
But normally, Normally when I'm in a rally, I'm normally prepared for anything. Because even now, you can go to a function and the president calls you. So will you fail to speak because you're not prepared? No. So you have to think very quickly on your feet.
Yeah. Okay. You're a woman leader, a young woman leader at that. When you get into a new space, you define your space, especially in the political arena. A certain particular individual is known for this. Another one is known for this. You are known for this. How is the experience?
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Defining that space, it's all a matter of space and time.
Yes.
For some, they'll do it immediately, you know, it's all a process.
Yeah.
But for me, first of all, I currently serve in the health committee. I'm a member of the Senate Health Committee.
Yes.
I'm the vice chairperson of the Trade, Industrialization and Tourism Committee.
Yes.
I also serve in the Powers and Privileges Committee.
Yes.
And I'm also the Deputy Secretary General of the Young Parliamentarians Association. Of my keen interest majorly has been on good governance issues, around governance issues. That's why you see even most of the agenda I push is pro good governance, pro people ideas. Like now I'm working on a civic education bill. Why? Because Kenya as a country has no framework on how civic education should be conducted.
Yeah.
And an informed citizenry is able to make right decisions even when they are oversighting what their elected leaders are doing.
Yeah.
You cannot ask what your elected leader is doing if before you have no background of what they're supposed to do. Yes. So for me, I feel that's very critical.
Yes.
Not for ordinary people, but even for legislators to just be informed. What we currently have is public participation. Public participation is very different from civic education. Civic education is informing someone, people to have knowledge on on a particular subject.
Topic, yeah.
Public participation, you're now calling informed people to make a decision on a particular idea or whatever project you've agreed to do.
Yeah.
So for now, we do not have that. And not that we have people who have no information, but it has to be a deliberate initiative to have people think on their feet. My build-up especially is on governance issues.
Yeah.
And ideas that are pro-people, because you cannot bring solutions. Solutions are within the people you engage with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So solutions you're proposing should arise from some of the challenges people encounter on a daily basis. So for me, that's where my major interest is. And really being in the Senate, as a young legislator, I've been very actively contributing through the KEWOPA, that's the association of, because I'm a young person, I'm a woman at the same time, so I cut across. My contributions can be seen even from what I do in the House. I've had a privilege of serving in the first special committee that was looking at the impeachment of the Meru governor, Kawira Mwangaza. I'm serving in the bipartisan committee that is looking at the stalemate between the Kenya Kwanza side and the members of the opposition. So such platforms get me to show Kenyans what young people can offer. And you know, I might not even know what you're capable of doing if I don't give you a platform. There are people who would be like, okay, what would Desi go to say now in the Senate? But now that I'm in the Senate, I've been able to show clearly that I was the right person to be in this platform. But Kenyans would not know that if we don't get those platforms.
And you showcase it also.
And showcase it. So it's my wish that we have so many other young people in different platforms so that they can also show what they are capable of doing.
Your confidence level at this point, we have people who have potential to be leaders. We have people who want to be leaders. We have people who look up to you, especially the youth. The youth are very fond of you. And there's that person who's like, yeah, I want to be like Senator, but I don't know where to start. And you also started somewhere. So how can you say your confidence level is at this point as when you were starting or a few years back?
You know, we keep learning. There has to be a deliberate commitment from an individual to perfect whatever they want to do. In as much as I would be having certain aspects, because I don't think I'm very charismatic, but I'm someone I'm down to earth, I'm very relatable.
Yeah.
So that tells me among my peers and even those who don't share whatever ideas I propagate. So you have to identify what you're good at first.
Yeah.
For me, I always had a liking towards current issues, political issues, and that's where I invested my time in.
Yeah.
So if you want to do your drama, really, you have to start hanging out with people who are doing such kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's no point of spending your time with a politician if it's none of your areas of interest.
It's not interest. Yeah, it
yes,
doesn't interest.
You want to be in political leadership. Honestly, you start associating even with your local leaders, mashinani.
True.
Start attending even funerals, even your own church, and address people there.
Yeah.
Within no time, you will be the people we read in books of history books.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want a politician, if by faith you wouldn't have landed in these leadership roles all through, what would you have been? What is something?
I always have wanted to be an investigative detective, something along that line, because I'm someone who's very keen to details. But I did information science. I've also done CPA.
Okay.
But you know, those, like any other, the trend really, any other person who was going to school, most of them are not, what they're doing now is not what they went to school to do.
Especially Kenya.
So I would have wanted to be an investigative detective, something along that line. Yes.
As a youth leader and a leader, what is your plan towards the youth, especially me, I'm a youth, so I'll tetea youth, and as a leader and your future ambitions?
First, like I said, I would rather have a short and impactful career than have a long career with no much direct impact to ordinary people.
Yeah.
First, as a nominated senator, really, what it gives you, this is an affirmative position. It generally gives you a platform to show and push a few things that really people can see as you transit to the other level, either going to elective politics or you can choose to be a technical person.
Yeah.
But for me, like I've told you, I want to have an informed citizen who is able to make decisions, on who they even want to represent them. And first, my mandate as a senator is very well outlined. Representation, I've done that very well in the House. I speak about issues that are affecting young people. Even the other day, before we went for recess, I raised a statement on how young people and women are going to be incorporated in the upcoming industrial parks we are having across counties. Young people and women-led enterprises are going to be incorporated. That's one way of pushing for young people to be in these spaces. And I've always urged young people who have issues they want to be raised on the floor of the Senate to please come up with those issues, because not all of us can be in the Senate, but as one of your representatives, those are issues that I can clearly air and represent you now that you're not in that space.
Yeah.
And I think just rating myself for the few months I've been in office, I've contributed largely. Even from the society where I come from, in the Bunge, in the committees where problems and issues that are facing young people or women or the other general public are raised, that is where those matters are prosecuted. On my beat, I've done extremely well in that area. Ambition is priceless. I do not really want to say this is what I'll do, but I know I have a great future.
Yeah.
There are so many things I'd want to do, which it's a matter of space and time.
Yeah.
The only thing I ensure I do on a daily basis is doing my work with the passion. And I know, if I quote, there's someone who says, you sweep until whoever comes says there was indeed a sweeper.
A sweeper, yeah.
And that's what I follow.
Yes.
So for me, I know the future with hard work, trusting in God, every other thing will fall into place.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. It was a pleasure having this engagement with you.
I feel at ease talking to you. I wish you all the best.
That's the benefit of having young people in leadership. It's very easy to relate with them because we don't have this due procedure I don't know what, because there's no much difference. I've been where you are.
Yes.
The only difference is now that you address me as senator or mheshimiwa, but I've been where you are. You know, these things people say are not new. First, I've been raised in a background of being an orphan. I've defied all that. I've gone to school. I've done very well. I've come
public primary school.
Yes.
In that.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I've come out here, performed very well, even with those existing circumstances, and still fought for my space in society. That's every other person can do that. Not necessarily in political leadership, but in whatever you do, always strive to be doing the best. Someone somewhere will notice whatever effort you're doing. They know go to drink.
And you, grace of God, also.
That first.
That first. Everything will follow.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.